And we are back. Welcome back, everybody, to the live stream. This time we are here for the qualifying session here ahead of the French Grand Prix. I'm yet again JW97, and yet again he has been Dennis Graff.
Terve, it's good to be here.
Indeed, so we arrive here for the qualifying, and as you can see, it's going to be a bone dry qualifying session here in France. So no rain expected for Q1, Q2, or Q3, and hopefully should be in for a very interesting one indeed. Of course, we've just come off the back of Armar car topping the practice session. Will Mercedes continue that into qualifying? We all say yes. We are about to get underway round about now then. So leave your guys' predictions on who you believe will get knocked out in Q1. I'm going to ask your predictions, Dennis. Who do you believe will get eliminated in Q1?
Yeah, that's a good question. But I will answer is like almost the same. I would say the two Manners, the two Haases, and I would say both Williams.
Okay, very interesting. I'm also going to go the same as well, Dennis. I'm going to go the same direction. Both Manners, both Haases, and both Williamses. But we could be wrong, of course. And we could entirely be wrong indeed. I'm doing fine, Rob, and I'm pretty sure Dennis is doing well as well.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just a bit tired. But it's all good.
Stuttering day, Dennis, was it?
Yeah. But so good. Let's get to qualifying on the road.
We are here in the garages then as we wait for the first car to get out on the track in this 18-minute Q1 session. And for a reminder of anybody who missed the practice session, we are using the medium tyres for this week here at the French Grand Prix. And the first car out on the track is going to be Andre Vaderi in the Alfa Romeo. So it's going to be the Alfa Romeo coming out first onto the racetrack. And he'll soon be flicking off the pit limiter. Of course, in real life, they would have already flicked off the pit limiter, but in GP4, the pit limit line is just right at the exit of the pit lane. So that's that really. Vaderi out on the track, as is Rosetta Martinez, as you can see on the top left of your screen, along with Kirishima De Rosa. De Rosa probably hoping he doesn't get held up by either Vaderi or Martinez. Lopez also coming out now, as is Sontag, the man who's celebrating his 200th Grand Prix with a special livery. And we also have Chatfield out there as well, along with Daniel Fraser. David Kupoch has come out. They're all making their way out. All 22 cars will come out onto the track, and then usually the runs afterwards, usually one car gets left behind because that's how Grand Prix 4 works. Don't ask me why that is. It's just one of them things. But anyway, as we now make our way towards the bus stop chicane, as Vaderi now makes his way towards the left, right, and then into the left-hand he will go, as he'll be making his way towards flat out right-hander. As now he'll make his way towards the next section of corners. Now let's have a look at what you guys have said in the stream chat. Panos has said Haas and Manor definitely out, so he's not said all six. He's just given us the ones he believes will be out. As George has had to quickly leave us. Bye, George. Anyway, Fong Chanek has said both Manners, both Alphas, a Williams and a Haas. Ra has said both Manners, both Haas, a Williams and an Alpha. And Rob has said that I think in a
bit of a joke.
Both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, and both Racing Points.
Would be fun.
Interesting. Laura says both Haas, both Williams, both Alfa Romeos after some holding the Manners like usual. So he's saying both Manners will make it through. Very interesting. As anyway, as Vaderi now then has just started his lap as he makes his way through into turns 1 and 2 now then, where most of the overtaking will get done. Well, in fact, where some of the... let me get that out again. It's one of many areas where you can overtake here at Paul Ricard. You've got turn 1, you've got this corner here, turn 3, and you've also got, of course, the long straight heading down towards the bus stop chicane. A lot of overtaking opportunities here in Paul Ricard, which is why it's usually quite an exciting race on Grand Prix 4, whereas in real life, you have to rely on the strategy. But I hope with these new cars, the potential of Paul Ricard can finally get shown a little bit, rather than it just being branded as just a car park layout, which I admit it does look like that. I'm not going to dispute that, but if it provides good racing, then I don't think anybody's going to be too upset. But anyway, as Vaderi now makes his way through into the bus stop chicane, he will now make his way towards the long swooping right-hander now then. And the second sector point is just after this long right-hander. It's just around about here, in fact, and it's a 59.487 he does in the middle sector. Just looking at everybody else's first sectors for the moment. No surprise that Lopez is currently up in the first sector. So out of everybody that's done a time in the first sector, not everybody has at the moment. But Videri now then makes his way towards the final 2 turns on the racetrack now then, as he'll make his way into the final corner and onto the pit straight. As now he'll make his way onto the pit straight and across the line. He will now go. What is the benchmarker time going to be from the Alfa Romeo driver? It is going to be a 1:32.212. Here comes Rosetta Martinez in the manner. Across the line goes the Filipino. He slots 3 tenths behind in second. De Rosa goes fastest by nearly second before being obliterated by Lopez, who goes 1.1 seconds faster than him with a 1:30.111. Chris Chatfield crosses the line. He slots into second. Felix Sontag slots to 6th behind the manner of Martinez. Fraser crosses the line. P4 for him. Not bad. Here comes Cupot. Goes into second place. Amar Carr, can he get to the top of the timing sheets? No, he can't. Goes second. 6 tenths off of Lopez, I should say. Kirby now then across the line. Goes into 6th. Laura Chung in the Ferrari across the line. She will now come. And she will slot into 7th place. Not a very good time behind Kirby, in fact. So not a very good first lap. Griffiths goes into 6th place. And not a very good first lap for Laura Chung, it's fair to say. Amelia Wilson crosses the line. Goes into P11. Jake Galloway, the Chinese Grand Prix winner, slots into 4th position. Miklos Gao goes into 2nd, splitting the 2 Mercedeses. He's 1/10 off of Franco Lopez. Here comes Roberto Gamba in the Ferrari. Across the line, he will now go. And he will go into 11th. 4th place for George Rowe. Probably got a healthy bit of slipstream there from Roberto Gamba. As across the line now, then we'll go Evan Byrne in the Renault, and he slots to 3rd. A very good time getting in front of Carr. 4th place for Franco Gamba. Carr only 5th. Not a very good first lap for Amar Carr. As Willows, meantime, slots into 7th, just behind Roque. Make that 8th now because Motrin has gone into 4th. Here comes Gabriel Gomez, who crosses the line in the Alfa Romeo, goes into 19th, and that's the first lap's done. And I should point out that Willows is the devil's phone number behind Franco Lopez. But we're going to take a look at what happened with Felix Sontag, because he's way off the pace. 3 seconds off. Did he make a mistake on his lap, or did he... There's your reason.
Oh, he got overtaken there by Chatfield.
Chatfield overtook him on the straight, so that didn't really help Felix Sontag's first lap there. And of course, for anybody wondering, he's just joined us. He's wearing a special livery for this race to commemorate the fact that this weekend, or this week in fact, marks his 200th Grand Prix in the top class. So a very good milestone there for Felix Sontag indeed, and that's why he's celebrating with a special livery. Jamie Griffiths has not got that livery. Is that the mechanical failure? No, that's just a fuel indicator. So it's just a fuel indicator there. I was a bit confused there because sometimes when you have low fuel, it does come up with a similar indicator to what it has if you've got a mechanical failure. But it only went off briefly there. So not a mechanical failure. That is just a fuel symbol there. So as these guys have now finished their first flying laps here in Q1, we'll be expected to see 21 of them do a second lap straight away. One of them usually gets left behind. Who that will be, we'll have to wait and see. But so far, Lopez at the top. And what did you make of them first laps overall, Dennis?
Yeah, it has been great laps from Lopez and Gal, but also from, of course, Griffiths and Kirby being in P13, P14, which is great for them. But of course, the 2 Ferraris, P15, P16. It's almost like the Renaults in Baku last time out. Hopefully they will improve.
Indeed so, especially Sontag as well, who obviously got overtaken by Chatfield. He'll be hoping he won't get
Yeah,
any
of course, Sontag. I forgot about him already. Sorry.
Yeah. He'll be hoping to improve on that. Of course, Carl will be looking to improve. Only P6 on his first lap. There is, whoa, a little bit of Grand Prix 4 physics there as a Haas driver went through a garage there. So clearly made some contact with somebody on the way into the pit lane there. A typical Grand Prix 4 for you. Griffiths up in 13th, a very good first lap for him at the moment. And but whether he can hold on to it, though, is another question, as we've still got just under 12 minutes of Q1 to go, and we've still got the second laps to still get out of the way, and potentially third laps, depending on how quickly the guys get back around the track. But we will see, really. And somebody's actually pointed out, in fact, the Ferraris only 15th and 16th after that first one, so not a good first lap for the Ferraris, Dennis.
Yeah, I said it already, but of course, put it on the chat as well. So yeah, as I said, they need to improve, otherwise it will be very tough for them.
Indeed so, as we are about to start the second laps very soon, as Rosetta Martinez has now come out to the racetrack. He's going to be the first on the track this time by instead of Andrea Videri. In fact, Videri's gone out second from that this time by. He's had to wait. He's waited a little bit longer. As you can see on the left-hand side, you can see that more people are starting to come out, as you can see from the fact that the pit symbol has gone off right next to their name. Sontag is back out there. Videri's out there. Chatfield's out there as well. So 4 cars out on track at the moment. Make that 5, I think, because I think somebody else has joined them. Yep, Kirby's joined them on the racetrack, so they're all making their way onto the racetrack to try and do a second lineup. Of course, as mentioned a little bit earlier, usually one person gets left behind during the second runs. Who that will be, we're not quite sure. As Martinez now then will make his way towards the right-hander now then. The flat-out right-hander, I should point out. For the right-hander he goes before making his way towards the double right-hander of the Boissé corner. Now through the double right-hander he goes, as he'll soon be starting his second flying lap very soon. Currently in 21st behind teammate Amelia Wilson, so he'll be looking to see if he can better that time if he can. Through the last 2 corners then will go the Filipino. Now into the final corner, Olizeta Martinez. Down the straight then will go the Filipino as he will start his lap very, very soon. As he makes his way down the straight, and Martinez now then starts his lap. So he'll now make his way towards the first 2 corners on the racetrack, the left and the right. And the first sector point is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, just coming out of turn 5. I could be wrong out of that, but through turns 3, turn 4, and then up towards turns 5 and 6, maybe in between these corners.
I think it's on the back straight.
Okay, let's have a look then. So round the right-hander, and see what his first sector is like, and it is on the back straight, just on the beginning of it. You are correct there. As is he up on his personal best? No, he's not. 2 tenths down on his personal best in the first sector. It's not a good first sector there for the 2018 DTM champion. Martinez through into the bus stop, then he goes through the right-hander, and then into the left-hander he will now go. Now down the straight then will go Rosetta Martinez, and now through the long swooping right-hander he will go before making his way towards double right-hander, and again 4 tenths down on his personal best in the middle sector, 1.8 off of Lopez overall. Now into the last sector he will go, as he'll be completing his lap. It doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement for Rosetta Martinez, but let's see anyway. It's the Manor driver now then, with the Mercedes engine in the back of the car. Through the last 2 turns he will go into the final corner, and now onto the pit straight now then he will go. As now making his way onto the pit straight will go Rosetta Martinez, as he will now come across the line, and he doesn't improve, remains where he is for the moment. Here comes Andrea Videri now then, heading his way onto the pit straight in the Alfa Romeo. He is up on his personal best. Can he improve? Across the line he goes, and he does. He goes up to 12. An improvement there. Chatfield, meanwhile, does improve in the last sector, though. He goes 9th. Sontag does improve, but remains in last position. So not really ideal. He does make a big improvement, but still down in last. Only 4 thousandths off of Martinez overall. So, yeah, still in last place for the man celebrating his 200th Grand Prix. Drew Kirby across the line will go the Brazilian, and he remains in 15th position. Jamie Griffiths is down on his personal best at the moment, currently in 14th position as he makes his way onto the pit straight. Across the line he goes, and he remains where he is at the moment. His Laura Chung gets up into 9th, a big improvement for her. Big improvement for De Rosa to get up into 5th place there, so some big improvements coming the way. As here comes George Roke. Across the line he will go in the Racing Point, currently in 8th, and he remains in 8th for the moment. As Davey Kupak across the line gets, as the Mercedes there of Lopez got held up and remains on a 130.111. Roberto Gamba is on an improvement, and he is, but he's still in the drop zone. That's still... It's not good for him. His car goes fastest by a 10th of a second. He's broken to the 1 minute 29s, or 129.9. As Fraser didn't improve, he remains in 18th. Wilson on improvement. She improves but remains in 20th position. Evan Byrne crosses the line, remains where he is. Franco Gamba on an improvement, but loses time in the last sector. I wonder if he made a mistake, perhaps. Miklos Gal also way off his personal best. What's going on here? Have they been making mistakes somewhere on the track? Because he was up on his personal best in the middle sector. So what's happened here then? To Franco Gamba and to Miklos Gal. Let's have a look. So Gamba, well, he was close in the there it is. Look, he got some understeer through into the second to last corner. And what happened to Gal? Because he was up on his personal best, as you can see on the death panel. Did he lose it all in the last corner? Let's see. Through the last turns he goes. Oh no, there he was off. Wide. went wide, and he was up on Lopez as well, was Gal.
Oh,
So he was looking
God.
to be
Oh,
quickest.
God.
He was up on him by 0.2 of a second in the middle sector, and then he dropped it in the middle sector by going incredibly wide there. And I don't know if he would have been quicker than Carr. I think he would have been. I think he would have just been quicker than him. But that was a costly error for Gal, because he could have been at the top of the timing sheets there. As meantime, Galloway comes across the line, and no improvement for him that time by, as Sontag comes back into the pits, and I think these are the second laps done with then. So at the moment it's Carr at the top now with Lopez in second and Gal in third position, but Roberto Gamba in a bit of bother because the Ferrari is currently in the drop zone, Dennis.
Yeah, that would be a big shock. He had the second run and didn't improve. By the way, Mortian stayed in the pits at this run, so for anyone's notice. But yeah, Roberto Gamba needs to get his fade on for his final lap in this session. But because I think everyone will have one lap remaining, apart from the one who stays in the pits.
Indeed so, as you mentioned, yeah, Moultrie did get left behind, but it didn't make that much of a difference because he is up in fifth position. I think he's pretty much safe anyway, but you never know, of course. As Kirby now then getting wheeled back into the garage as Jamie Griffiths is back into the pit. His teammate looking to try and see if he can improve a little bit more because he is down in last position. That first lap where he got overtaken by Chatfield wouldn't have pleased his mood, that's for sure. Although in the case of Joseph Willows, he could definitely say calmer after being held up by him in Baku, but we're not going to get into tension with that one. But anywho, as now Griffiths gets wheeled back into the garage, and he will be preparing to start what could be his third flying lap, unless he's one of the guys that gets left behind on this instance, as we will have time for one more flying lap, but it's just who it will be. And as Yuri just clarified in the chat there, he was up on Carr by 0.150 in the second sector before he made the mistake. So Gal probably would have gone to the top if it wasn't for that horrible mistake he made, which is a bit of a shame. In the meantime, Andrea Vaderi is now out on the racetrack. He's going to be out first instead of Martinez last time out. So the second time he's gone out first. He went out on the first laps, and now he's going out first on the third laps, as he's going to be doing a third flying lap with just 5 minutes to go left in the session. Through into the double right-hander he will go now then, as he'll make his way through the long swooping right-hander. And now into the left-hander he will go, before making his way down the straight. And anybody else on the track? Yes, Roland Motrin has come out onto the track, as has Chris Chatfield, and as has Rosetta Martinez as well. So a few guys now then out on the racetrack. Through into the bus stop chicane, here's Andrea Vaderi. And currently in the drop zone right now, we have Roberto Gamba, Fraser, Gomez, Wilson, Martinez and Sontag. Roberto Gamba desperately needs to get back out, otherwise he will be eliminated. It's the same for all the other guys who are in the bottom six. Martinez is obviously out on the track, so he'll get probably one more chance to try and get himself and his manor into Q2 if he can. As they make the way through, as Vaderi makes his way through the double right-hander now, then before approaching the long swooping left-hander. A lot of long swooping corners around here at Paul Ricard. Wilson has gone out onto the track. So the two Mallers have gone out to try and see if they can make it into Q2. Roberto Gamba, Fraser, Gomez, and I was going to say Sontag, but Sontag has now gone out onto the track, so he'll give himself another chance to get himself into Q2 and try and get both Williamses through into Q2, because Griffiths has also gone back out onto the racetrack. Roberto Gamba, Fraser and Gomez still waiting around. Are any of them one of the guys that are going to get left behind? I'm not sure. As Vaderi starts his next lap, and he's got to be careful because that's his teammate in front. He doesn't want to get held up by him, because otherwise he'll be having words with Frederick Fashio about that one. That's for sure. As Roberto Gamba is still in the pit lane at the moment, with Fraser and Gomez getting back out there. But Gomez may have to deal with his own teammate. There might be some tension going on at the Alfa Romeo camp. Who knows, really? As Vaderi now then just makes his way through the double right-hander now then, as there's still 4 cars left in the pits. Byrne, Franco Gamba, Galloway. Well, I was going to say that, but Roberto Gamba has now gone out onto the racetrack, so all 6 guys in the bottom 6 are out on track. It's just Galloway. It's just going to be Galloway then that's going to be left behind, and he'll be praying that he'll do enough to get through into Q2. But we will see, of course, as Vaderi now then through the first chicane, the bus stop chicane, I should say. don't know how much I wasn't really paying attention to the sector points, apart from the fact that he is down on his personal best. I don't know how much time Gomez had interfered with Videri there, but there's now a bit of a gap now forming between the two Alfa Romeo drivers as a result. Let's see what his second sector is like, and he's 7 tenths down off his personal best. So I think Gomez may have had an impact on that point. But he is currently, where is Videri? In 14th, so he'll be praying that he does enough to get his Alfa Romeo through into Q2, as his teammate will be starting a lap in just a few moments' time. The final flying lap, I should point out, as we've got another spammer in the chat. Hello, and in fact, he's already been blocked off by someone. In fact, thank you, Yuri. As now we look at Videri, who's going to cross the line now. Then currently down on his personal best. I think he's going to remain down on his personal best, and he is. He remains in 14th position. As we now look at Roland Motrin, currently in 5th position now. Then on his final flying lap, going around the final 2 turns on the racetrack now. Then into the final corner, as he's currently behind one of the Red Bulls. And the pitch straight. Then we'll go Roland Motrin, and across the line. It will now go now then. Motrin currently in P5 in the pink Mercedes, crosses the line and remains in P5. Chris Chatfield not up on his personal best, currently in P11, remains in P11 as Roberto Gamba will start his final flying lap, and he needs to make it count because he is down in the drop zone. Martinez, last chance for him, crosses the line and remains in 21st, so Martinez is out as Bernie's trying to find a way through on him as Franco Gamba was just about to start his lap there. Dudu Kirby coming around the last turn, he's currently in 16th, so he is in the cusp. But at the moment, he's not improving, so he's got to pray that Roberto Gamba or anybody else in the drop zone is not improving. Otherwise, he will be out in Q1 as Dudu Kirby does not improve, remains in 16th position. So he's got to pray at this point. Here comes De Rosa now then, just making his way through into the final corner. He's also holding up Carr, who is up on his personal best in the middle sector. So maybe the slipstream from the McLaren may be helping out Carr to improve on his 1 minute 29.959. We'll keep an eye on that as De Rosa now then comes across the line, doesn't improve, and Carr does improve. The slipstream goes. He goes a tenth quicker. He's now on a 129.829. So Carr does improve, goes nearly 3 tenths quicker than Lopez at this point in time. Wilson doesn't improve. She's out. She remains in 20th position. Griffiths crosses the line, remains in 15th. He's got to pray he can get that Williams through. Sontag is not up on his personal best, and he's way off, in fact. Cross the line he goes, and he remains in last. So for his 200th race, he's going to start in last position. That's not good for Sontag at all, as Chung and Lopez there didn't improve, nor did Willows, nor did keep up. Roque improves, he goes up into 8th. Here comes Gabriel Gomez, he's up on his personal best and he's in the drop zone. Can he get the Alfa Romeo through into Q2? No, he can't.
No, he can't.
18th, but he's out. Here comes Daniel Fraser, currently in 19th. Can he make it through? No, he is out. Here comes Mikolas Gal now then, he's just making his way through into the final corner. And let's see what he can do. I've just noticed as well that Franco Gamba and George Roque have set an identical time as well. Gamba being ahead because he set the time first. So luckily that won't do anything in the vanilla game because Gamba's got a higher garage to Roque. Here comes Gamba. He needs to make this work. Can he get the Ferrari through into Q2? Across the line goes Roberto Gamba. And he can. He gets up to 11th, which means Kirby is out. Kirby has dropped down to 17th and he's out. Byrne crosses the line, remains where he is, which is P4. Here comes Franco Gamba across the line. No improvement for him, remains in P7. And that is Q1 done with. So Almar Carr topping the session in the end, within the end being Dudu Kirby, Gabriel Gomez, Daniel Fraser, Amelia Wilson, Rosetta Martinez, and Felix Sontag being out in Q1. But that was hair-raising moment for Roberto Gamba, it's fair to say, Dennis. I'll get on to you in a bit as we just read the top 3 again. It's Almar Carr, Franco Lopez, and Mikolas Gal. And your bottom 6, just to confirm, are Dudu Kirby, Gabriel Gomez, Daniel Fraser, Amelia Wilson, Rosetta Martinez, and Felix Sontag. So, that session overall, Dennis, quite an interesting session, and it nearly went wrong for Roberto Gamba there.
Yeah, it nearly did. But maybe he just wanted to create a bit of excitement. Yeah, in the end, he did manage to get into Q2. And also great effort from Jamie Griffiths in P16. Yeah, we will see him again in Q2.
Indeed, only one Williams making it through there. Felix Sontag having a nightmare qualifying session for what is his 200th Grand Prix. Well, for the moment, Yui's just going to sort out everything he needs to for Q2. But for the meantime, guys, you could tell us who you believe will get knocked out in Q2. I'll ask your prediction in just a little bit, Dennis. But for the meantime, I'm going to try and sort out the tweet. And sorry if I go a little bit silent for the moment, but I'll try my best to try and keep talking. So, yeah. As just putting this up. as in spin and
It seems like you and Roberto are always together, Laura. Yeah.
they're a bit inseparable in terms of pace, to be honest, the two Ferrari drivers. But it's just throughout this season, I'd say that Roberto has had a little bit more better rub of the green than what Laura's had this season. Although, who's to say that maybe what happened in Baku, Laura can finally build on that and start to close the gap between herself and her teammate Roberto in the championship and try and turn it around,
Yeah,
especially
indeed.
given that this Sunday, of course, for anybody who needs a reminding, the sign-ups do open for the 2021 season because we are getting close to the halfway point of the season. So that's that.
Yeah.
So just writing up the tweet.
Yeah, also Ross said, Joe, if you get eliminated from in Q2, then you know what I will do. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I will have to mute my my Discord as a result. But anyway, as I know he's going to spam that all over the place, but we'll see. So anyway, I've got the tweet up for you guys. I'll read out what you've put in a little bit. As Ross put, definitely Kiro, don't worry, Joe. Oh right, okay, yeah, of course, Anyway, as of course, for anybody who needs a reminder, the bottom six have got eliminated in Q1. Where, of course, Dudu Kirby, Gabriel Gomez, Daniel Fraser, Emilio Wilson, Rosetta Martinez, and Felix Sontag in his 200th Grand Prix. Roberto Garber nearly getting eliminated in the Ferrari, but in the end, which just managed to post a good enough time, which got him through into Q2. So that's that really, and well, you don't want the green. That's bad if you go off. I want the asphalt speed and power and jet fuel unite. Yeah, well, true, Laura, true, Laura. But well, to be fair, there's not that much green stuff around here at Paul Ricard, so I think you'll be okay. So, in fact, I don't think there's any green stuff around Paul Ricard. It's all tarmac. So, and dust. So, yeah, I don't think you need to worry about the green stuff around the outside of Paul Ricard. That's for sure. So. That's that really. So yeah, as yeah, so many things trending on my side of Twitter, but some weird stuff. Anyway, as we will soon be ready to go for Q2 in just a little bit. We're just waiting for the stream and for Yuri to sort out what he needs to sort out before we get Q2 underway. And so that's that really, and as there's one tweet that's suggesting 5 F1 drivers who could replace Lewis with in case he decides to do a no-show for 2022. Does anybody really think Lewis is going to retire? I personally don't think so. I think it's all just dramatized, but
Yeah.
that's me at the end
I
of the
think he will
day.
stay.
Yeah. But anyway, as still waiting for Yuri. Clearly, he might be taking him a bit longer than what he's anticipated. Oh no, never mind. We just got the stream up right now. You should see it in just a little bit on your screen very soon. Okay, fair enough. Well, it's up on your screen now, guys. Of course, a reminder that there's no rain in store for any of the sessions. So let's get underway for Q2. So what is your prediction on who you believe will be eliminated, Dennis?
So, I think we have Griffiths who will be out. Also, Federi. Then both AlphaTauris. Then I would say Ferrari. And then I would roll the dice a bit. I think Red Bull will be eliminated. I'm going a bit bold on that one.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to go with Griffiths. One Ferrari, I'm going to say. I'm going to say both AlphaTauris on this occasion. I'm also going to say Videri to be out. I think Videri made it through, didn't he, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes,
In the
he did.
Mare. Yeah, so Videri will be eliminated. And one more. Let's go bold and say one Renault. Why not? So anyway, that's my prediction. So let's read everybody else's prediction as we wait for the first car to get out onto the racetrack. and which we haven't seen yet. That's still in the garage at this point in time in this 50-minute session until now, because Joseph Willows, oh surprise, surprise, he's going to be the first on track for Q2. Meantime, I'm going to read your predictions. So, from Chanek, you said Griffiths, Videri, a Renault, a McLaren, an AlphaTauri, and a Ferrari. And Ra has said Videri, Jamie, both Ferraris, an AlphaTauri, and a McLaren. I wonder why with that last one. And yeah, only 2 predictions in the stream chat, so that's that. But yeah, that's our predictions. Joseph Willows is the first out on the racetrack. He's also joined on track by his teammate Kirishima DeRosa, Andre Videri, George Roque, and Nicolas Gal. A few more cars will join him a little bit. All 16 cars will go out, and that we're hoping they don't get involved in any traffic whatsoever. But Joseph Willows will be the one setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat around here at Paul Ricard. As Willows now will make his way up towards bus stop chicane, which is the left, right, and left-hander, and so through the left we go. He's now heading his way down the straight. We'll go Joseph Willows, and 4 cars have joined us on the track. We've got Franco Gamba, Roberto Gamba, Evan Byrne, Roland Motrin, Laura Chung, and they're all fizzling their way out. I'm just looking on the mini map. It looks like they're all making their way out towards the end of the pit lane now then, so all 16 cars are out on the track, so Willows will not have any issues with traffic. Whether anybody else will behind him is going to be another question, but we will see in due course. As Willows now then makes his way towards the final 2 turns on the racetrack now then, in towards turn 17 he will go, as you can see from the boards on the right hand side there, which gives us a little bit of a helping hand. And Willows now then making his way onto the pit straight, and Willows now then starts his lap around about now then. So Willows making his way down towards the first corner, and also starting their lap is Kirishima DeRosa. In fact, I think both McLarens went out at the same time there. The McLaren drivers wasting no time at all whatsoever. Maybe DeRosa will get a little bit of slipstream because he is a little bit far back from Willows, but not enough to the point where the McLaren drivers will start holding each other up. So through the double left-hander goes Joseph Willows, and then through turn 6, and then he'll approach turn 7 before approaching the end of sector 1. Let's see what his first sector is going to be like as he makes his way onto the long straight now then. It is a 32.660 for Willows in the first sector, as DeRosa actually went a bit better than him in the first sector by nearly 3 turns, so 32.343. Gal going quicker than them at this point in time. In fact, Rogue also going quicker than Willows, so not the best first sector for Willows that time by, as he just comes out of the bus stop chicane, and now making his way towards the long right under. 32.9 for Videri in the first sector, as to be expected from an Alfa Romeo, as Willows approaches the end of sector 2. A 58.870, so not a bad middle sector for Willows there. Seems to have gained a bit in the middle sector, and so much so that he's gained a little bit onto DeRosa. He's still not quicker than him, but he has gained a little bit of time back from DeRosa in the middle sector. A 58.615 for DeRosa there. 58.270 for Gal, so he's looking strong in the middle sector. As now Willows will come up towards the final corner now then, as he's about to complete his first flying lap of Q2. Heading down the pit straight goes the 2-time world champion. Joseph Willows now then comes across the line. What is the lap time going to be for the McLaren driver? The benchmark time is going to be a 1:31.341, as DeRosa found some more time in last head to go 5 tenths quicker, but then Gal went 6 tenths quicker there in the end there. Roque slots into 3rd position. Here comes Andre Videri now then in the Alfa Romeo. Across the line will go the Italian, and he slots into 5th position. Here comes Roberto Gamba in the Ferrari, just flicking the car in for the final turn. And across the line will go Roberto Gamba, heading down the pit straight, and Gamba, where is he going to place the Ferrari? He goes into 4th position ahead of Willows. Galloway now then in the Renault across the line goes into 5th ahead of Willows himself. In fact, he's over a second behind Gal, in fact. So not a very good first lap for both Galloway and Willows that time by. Here comes Laura Chung. Obviously said in the stream chat that her and Roberto just can't seem to separate from each other when it comes to lap time. Is that going to be the same case here as Chung crosses the line and goes into 4th position? Kind of a similar story there, because she gets in front of Gamba there by just under a tenth. Here comes Evan Byrne now then, slots into 7th in the Renault. Davey Kupok across the line, he will go in the Alpha Tauris. Motrin goes into 2nd place, in fact. So Hungarian 1-2 at the moment, as Kupok is in 13th. As Lopez goes fastest by nearly 5 tenths of a second at 1:29.737, as it's 14th, made that 15th. His car got really held. Let me get my R's out correctly. Really got held up there by by Griffiths, and he's only 13th after the first lap. Chatfield in 12th position, so at the moment, Lopez at the top, Gallon in second, Motrin in third, but Carr not the first lap he intended there after being held up.
Yeah, indeed, the hold up from Griffiths was very bad. But he still has one lap at least to improve. So it's not the end of the world at the moment.
No, definitely not, as well as comes back into the pits. Only P11 after the first lap though, so he's currently in the drop zone at this point in time. I don't think Willows will want to be in a drop zone again after a run of bad qualifying form he had before going into Azerbaijan. So Roke has made his way back into the pit lane. Carr obviously desperately needs to improve and hopes to get a clear bit of track for him next time by, being all the way down in 13th position as Roke gets wheeled back into the garage. Videri into the box himself. So far in the drop zone then, it's Willows, Chatfield, Carr, Videri, Kupok and Griffiths. At this point in time, we're just over 9 minutes to go here in Q2. As Videri now will get wheeled back into the garage in his Alfa Romeo. And so now wheeling his way back into the garage. And he'll be preparing for the second final lap, as will everybody else. There's still a few more cars you can see on the mini-map on the top right that's still yet to come into the pits there. And so far, just looking at the leaderboard there, from 4th downwards, they're all over a second behind Franco Lopez. And a Hungarian 2-3 at the moment, as Miklos Gal is in second and Roland Motrin currently in third position. Jamie Griffiths now back into the pit lane. And that's right. And now wait for the next set of cars to come in. There's a Kukwak having to negotiate around the Renault there. As Griffiths now then makes his way towards his pit garage, the Williams garage, which is the second to last garage along. Of course, the garages are based on 2018, so just ignore the works around the garage. There's De Rosa is going out onto the track, so he'll be the second man out onto the racetrack. The first person to go out for the second laps, I should say, to rephrase myself. But De Rosa now then out on the racetrack now then, as he makes his way through the first two turns on the racetrack. Is Willow's going to join him next, because he was ahead of him last time out on the previous runs. It's now through turns 3, 4 and 5, and the answer to that is no. Roberto Gamba and Jake Galloway get out before Willow's do, which you can see on the timing tower on the left hand side. As De Rosa currently in 4th position, currently doing well, but how long will he keep that position for? I'm not sure, because of course, let's not forget, you got Carr who got held up in traffic, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of guys out there who'll be looking to try and improve on their first lap as they now make their way towards the bus stop chicane. Now coming out of that bus stop chicane now, then we'll go De Rosa as he'll be preparing to start his next flying lap very, very soon. Gal has gone out onto the racetrack, and Willows has now finally got on the racetrack. He's decided to come out a little bit later on than what he did on the first flying lap, as he looks to try and get himself into the top 10, as he's currently just in the drop zone at this point. Rosa now then through into the left-hander now then, as he flicks the car in, and now using a bit of curve on the outside. Now in towards the final two corners then, we'll go De Rosa. So now the final corner onto the pit straight. De Rosa will start his next flying lap as Motrin, Chatfield and Griffiths are still yet to come out. I say that now because Griffiths has just come out on the track. De Rosa hoping there's no traffic on the exit, which it doesn't look like there is, so De Rosa will be getting a clean lap on this instance and looks to improve on his best time at the moment, which is just under 1.1 seconds behind Lopez at the moment, as De Rosa now makes his way towards turns 3 and 4, flicking it in through the right, then into the left, then into the double right-hander. We'll go Kirishima De Rosa. Now, the long swooping right-hander he will go, as he will soon be approaching the end of the first sector. His personal best first sector was a 32.343. Let's see if he's able to go up on that as he approaches the end of the first sector. He can, but only by 55 thousandths of a second, so not much, but he can still gain a lot of the time back in the second sector and the third, of course, the third one being the most technical of the two sectors. The bus stop chicane then Cairo as now making his way towards the flat out right-hander and soon approaching the end of Sector 2, which was a 58.615 he set on his first lap. Let's see what it's like this time by 57.936 for Lopez in that middle sector, and he's now 1/10 up on his personal best. So he is continuing to gain the time now then, but let's see if he can keep it up in the last sector, which is a little bit more technical now then, as he's currently in 4th position. Could get up into the top 3 perhaps, as he is just over a 10th behind Roland Motrin at the moment. As now into the final 2 corners will go Kirishima DeRosa. Into the final corner, onto the pit straight now then will go DeRosa. Let's see, can he get the McLaren into the top 3? For the brief time, I would imagine. Across the line goes DeRosa, and yes, he can. He gets up into 3rd, 8/10 off of Franco Lopez. If we now look at Roberto Gamba, he's up on his personal best. At the moment, let's see how much the Italian can improve by as he makes his way onto the pit straight, and Roberto Gamba is now going to cross the line, and he goes up to 5th, so a big improvement there for him. Galloway gets up into 8th, so an improvement there for Jake Galloway, but not by much. I think he expected probably a little bit more. Videri is up on his personal best. He's currently in 14th. Let's see what the Italian can do. And he gets up to 13th, gains 1 place ahead of Carr, who of course was held up on the first lap. Rote goes up into 6th, an improvement there, as the 2 Red Bulls are not doing themselves any favours, as Chatfield, I think it said, improved there to get up to 12th. I could be wrong there. It might have been my eyes there. It's just playing up. But Gamba is up on his personal best as Franco Gamba crosses the line and he gets up into 8th. Gal got held up and doesn't improve. He's not going to be particularly happy with Franco Gamba there. Willow's not up on his personal best and he remains in 11th, so he's still in the drop zone at the moment, as here comes Franco Lopez on a 1:29.737, and he remains on that time. He's over a second off his personal best. Loa Chung crosses the line, remains in P7 as Amarco is up on his personal best and gets up into 3rd, so he's now out of the drop zone. That pushes Byrne into the drop zone. As Kupop, meanwhile, gets out of the drop zone. He gets up into 6th position, so a big improvement there for the German. As across the line, as Byrne does not improve at this point in time, as Griffiths is up on his personal best. Franco Gamba currently in P10 at the moment. He's just in the cusp at the moment, as Griffiths is up on his personal best. Let's see what he can do in the Williams, as the Welshman now then comes across the line and he improves but remains in 16th. He's still well off of Videri at this point in time, so a bit off the pace here in Q2, as Roland Motrin now then up on his personal best, gets up into 4th position. In fact, probably stays in 4th, but he's closed the gap between himself and Lopez Ramos. Now look at Chatfield. He actually didn't improve on his lap. I was wrong on lap. He is currently on a lap, but so far down on his personal best in the middle sector, as he's currently down at 14th position, as now Chatfield makes his way into the final corner and onto the pit straight. Could this potentially be his final flying lap, judging by how much time there's left on the clock at the top? We'll have to wait and see. But Chatfield now then comes across the line and he doesn't improve, remains in 14th position as the 2 Red Bulls come into the pits, with Franco Gamba just in the cusp of the top 10 at the moment. Both Renaults in the drop zone again for the 2nd race in a row, with Galloway in 11th and Byrne in 12th. But yeah, very interesting, it's fair to say, at this point in time, Dennis.
Yeah, it's very close for Franco Gamba this time. And yeah, of course, I think Galloway will get another lap in. And maybe Willows. But yeah, it should be very exciting in the final few minutes.
Yeah, indeed, as we are looking on board with Gabriel Gomez. Of course, he's not taking part in this session because, of course, he got knocked out in Q1, but because it's set as a player car, so that's why you can see Gabriel Gomez in the garage. Is the only way we can ensure that none of the other 6 drivers get out onto the racetrack during qualifying. So that's that really, as wait to see who's going to be able to do a 3rd and final flying lap. They've got to get out before the 1:29 mark, otherwise it'll be qualifying over, and I believe it could be for Griffiths, in fact, because there's only 2 and a bit minutes left, and I think
definitely is for Griffiths.
Down in 16th, so way off the pace, it's fair to say, for the Welshman, but he has out-qualified Sontag, so there is a plus there for him, as DeRosa does get out, so he'll do 1 more flying lap. Will anyone from the drop zone get out on track before the 1:29 mark? We will see, as DeRosa now then comes out onto the racetrack with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. He'll get 1 more flying lap in. And Chatfield, meanwhile, I think he's going to be done, to be honest with you, because there's not much time left. So I think it's fair to say that Chatfield is out in Q2. But will anybody else in the drop zone come out? Well, Galloway is on track. So we'll get 1 more chance. What about anybody else? And it doesn't look like it. So it seems that Byrne, Wellows, Chatfield, Videri and Griffiths are out. 12th of 16 are out. Galloway has given himself one more chance, and Franco Gamba, I think, has just got out onto the racetrack as well. So he's got out, I think, at the right time, but I could be wrong on that. We'll have to wait and see. But De Rosa, we know he is going to get one more lap. Same with Galloway. Maybe Franco Gamba. We'll have to wait and see. Well, he'll have to pray that Galloway doesn't get a better lap in. Otherwise, Franco Gamba could be looking at being eliminated here in Q2. We'll have to see. As De Rosa now then makes his way towards the long swooping right-hander now then, as he'll soon be starting his third flying lap. And coming up towards the double right-hander, he will go now then in the McLaren, coming around the section of corners, and now approaching the left-hander now then as he flicks the car in and just avoids the curb on the left-hand side as he will be about to start his final flying lap then of Q2. And now through the left-hander as now into the final corner and onto the pit straight now then will go De Rosa as he now starts his second and final flying lap here of Q2. Across the line it will soon go, and he starts his lap now then, and he's been held up by the Williams of Griffith, so his lap has been compromised as a result. Galloway crosses the line to start his lap. What about Franco Gamba behind him? Whereabouts is he on the track? There's Roberto Gamba, but where's Franco Gamba? And no, Franco Gamba will not get a lap in. I was wrong on that, but Roberto will. His cousin will. So there are 3 cars out there doing a lap. So Franco Gamba, he's got to pray that Galloway does not go up on his personal best, because otherwise, if he does, Franco Gamba could find himself out here in Q2. This is going to be very interesting indeed as we ride on board with Jake Galloway. We're going to ride on board with him because De Rosa's lap has been compromised. He's not going to improve, and he's through anyway. He's up in P5, and well, that might have secured it for Gamba, because he's nearly 5 tenths down in the first sector from his personal best, is Galloway. So I think Gamba might have counted his lucky chickens unless Jake Galloway is able to find some miracle in these last 2 sectors, which I highly doubt, as he now comes up towards the flat-out right-hander now. Then he'll go on the track, as now through the long swooping right-hander will go Jake Galloway, and let's see what his middle sector is like. And yeah, 6 tenths off. I think it's fair to say that I think Franco Gamba is going to call himself very lucky here that he's made it through into Q2 there, because that was very, very close for the Italian, but it looks like he has made it into Q2, unless Galloway finds 6 tenths somehow in this last sector, which I honestly do not see happening. But anyway, into the last 2 corners then goes Jake Galloway, as he'll now make his way into the final corner, as he now makes his way onto the pit straight now then. And across the line then will go Jake Galloway. Has he been able to find some miracle time in the last sector? I doubt it. And no, he hasn't. Galloway is out. That means for the second race in a row, both Renaults have been eliminated in Q2. So another disastrous qualifying for Renault. Roberto Gamba is up on his personal best. Where can he end up? And he goes up to 6th. So a big improvement there for him in the end. But that's that really. So after that, Franco Lopez tops the session for Miklos Galley in 2nd and Amar Khan in 3rd. And your bottom 6 who have been eliminated are Jake Galloway, Evan Byrne, Joseph Willows, Chris Chatfield, Andre Vaderi, and Jamie Griffiths. So what did you make of that session overall, Dennis?
Yeah, it was very exciting at the end, with Franco Gamba almost being eliminated, but he can call himself a lucky man, because Galloway didn't improve. So yeah, of course, disappointment for Renault again. Yeah, same for Willows.
Yeah, indeed. Seems that Willows has unfortunately gone back to his old qualifying traits. Well, for the moment, we are going to... Yuri will sort out everything he needs to for Q3. But for the meantime, guys, you can let us know your prediction on who you believe will take pole position for tomorrow's French Grand Prix. I'll ask your prediction in just a little bit, Dennis. But for the meantime, I'm just going to try and get a photo for Twitter to try and... to show that Lopez topped the session, and of course who got eliminated in that session. So just give me a moment, guys. I'm just trying to get the best picture of Lopez here, which can sometimes be a bit tricky with a stream, but I think I found a good one anyway. So just bear with, guys, as we'll soon be starting Q2 in just a little bit. But as mentioned, you can leave your prediction on who you believe will take pole position for tomorrow's French Grand Prix in the stream chat, and I'll read them out once we get into Q3. And I kind of missed an opportunity there with Lopez. It's going to have to be a quick response, this one is. But anyway. That was very close for Franco Gamba in that last session, but he just about was able, by the skin of his teeth, to make it through into Q3. But he can't afford any of those near scares in Q3 as well, as he'll be looking to try and get as close to the front and try and end what has been so far a disastrous quali season for Franco Lopez. Not for Lopez, Gamba, sorry. It's been a good qualifying season for Lopez. It's been the complete opposite for Lopez, but but for Gamba, it's not been the best for qualifying at the moment, that is.
Yeah, that's true.
So, as I'm just going to get the results there, and so I'm just going to get that up on the Twitter. So sorry if I go a bit silent, guys, but bear with. And there we go. The tweet is out there. So that's that. As now we've got the stream back up. So we'll be getting prepared for Q3. As there you are. It's on your screen right now. And we are going to get underway. So, Dennis, who do you believe will take pole position for tomorrow's French Grand Prix?
Yeah, my prediction will be a bit boring, I think. But I would say Franco Lopez will do it once again.
Indeed so. Ross says Lopez will take pole position, and he also says that Gal will start 10th, with Yuri replying, "You ain't George, though." So, well, that's that really. But anyway, we're about to get underway for Q3. Once the loading bar loads up, we know that there is a bit of a pause when it gets in the middle there for Paul Ricard, but it does eventually load. It's not as long as what Baku is, per se, but yeah, still quite a bit of a lengthy one compared to other tracks. But we are now in the garage, getting set now for Q3. And so as we wait to see who's going to be the first car to get out onto the track for Q3, as we are in the cockpit, meanwhile, of Roland Motrin. And who's going to be the first to get out there onto the racetrack? It's an AlphaTauri, and that AlphaTauri being David Kupok, of course, because Chris Chatfield, of course, got eliminated in Q2. So David Kupok is the first man out on the racetrack for AlphaTauri, and let's see what he's going to be able to do in Q3 for AlphaTauri as he now comes out to the racetrack. Out on the track goes the German. He's also joined by Franco Lopez. He's also getting out on the track quite super early this time by, it's fair to say. And I'm going to, in fact, I didn't give my prediction on you. I believe will take pole position. I'm going to go play it safe and say Franco Lopez, as per usual. So I don't think that's much of a surprise to anybody watching, but who knows really? Maybe he could get up, he may be surpassed this time. He's only not taken pole position once this season, and that was when he got eliminated in Q2, back at the Chinese Grand Prix. Will anybody stop him from taking another pole here in France? We will have to wait and see. Could Carr stop him? Could Gal potentially stop him? Could anybody else shockingly stop him? Who knows? But anyway, Keepot now then just coming around the bus stop chicane. He will now make his way towards the flat-out right-hander now then, as he will swing the car around the long swooping right-hander. And now into the double right-hander will go the Keepot. As more cars are now making their way out onto the racetrack, as I think now all 10 cars who were taking part in Q3, are now out on the racetrack then. So that's that. As Kupok now then will make his way towards the final two corners on the racetrack now then, flicking the car in for the left-hander and then into the final corner he will now go. Now he makes his way down the straight, as does David Kupok. He will now start his first flying lap of Q3. Luckily for him, no traffic, because of course all the guys have got out way before, all the drivers have got out way before he made his way onto the track. So through the first two turns then will go David Kupok. He will now make his way down towards, turns 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7 complex, Not a lot of straight to break up these corners individually, but I guess that adds to the challenge, really, and the aerodynamic challenge of all of these cars. Through the long swooping right-hander will go David Cupock as he now makes his way through the flat-out turn 7. Let's see what his first sector is like, as it is a 32.555, so a famous cigarette brand for the point numbers there, as for the decimals, I should say. But anyway, Cupock now then through the bus stop chicane, just looking at everybody else's first sector, 32.527 for Lopez. So not much up on Cupock in the first sector, 32.632 for Chung there, a 32.332 for Roberto. So he's actually up on Franco Lopez in the first sector is Roberto Gamba, but let's see if he can keep that one up. A 58.903 for Cupock in the middle sector that time by. He'll now make his way towards the long swooping left-hander, and let's see what the last sector is going to comprise of for David Cupock. As now in towards the final two corners goes David Cupock, as he'll now make his way into the final corner and onto the pit straight. Now then he will go, and now down the pit straight, let's see what the benchmark time is going to be for David Cupock, as he will now come across the line now then, and David Cupock does it 131.266. Here comes Franco Lopez across the line at 130.984. Only 2 tenths quicker than Cupock that time by. Here comes Laura Chung in the Ferrari. Across the line she will now go. Where is she going to place herself? She goes into third behind Cupock. Roberto Gamba, who was up on Lopez in the first sector. Let's see if he can keep that up across the line. And he can
Yes,
do.
he
He
can.
goes quicker by nearly 3 tenths of a second. 130.706. That's not a bad time, although it's not the quickest we've seen. We've seen obviously drivers get into the 1:29, so maybe Lopez may be holding that one back. We'll have to wait and see. We need to also see what car he's doing as well in the other Mercedes. Here comes Kirishima De Rosa then in the McLaren. Across the line he will now go. Can he go quicker than Roberto Gamba? Across the line he will go. And yes, he can, but only by 24 thousandths of a second. Here comes Amar Khan. What can he do? Can he get the Mercedes to the top of the time sheet? Amar Khan crosses the line. And yes, he can, but only by 49 thousandths of a second. So not by much for Amar Khan. Roland Motrin crosses the line, goes into 5th. What about the Red Bulls? What are they doing? Let's see. Franco Gamba makes his way onto the pit straight. How does he do compared to Amar Khan? Franco Gamba is going to make his way across the line now. Then can he go quicker than Amar Khan? And yes, he can by a 129.7 as Gal goes into 2nd, 3 tenths behind, a 129.711 for Franco Gamba. Josh Roke goes into 6th position, so that's that then. So after the first lap, it is Franco Gamba who has at the top. It's currently a Red Bull 1-2 at the moment, but still a very good lap for Franco Gamba there, Dennis.
Yeah, absolutely shocking, to be honest. I didn't expect that one coming. When I saw the gap, I couldn't believe my eyes. I think Mercedes will bounce back.
Think they will? Okay. Well, hello again. George has just joined us in the stream chat, and he's just come back from whatever he was doing. But at the moment, a Red Bull 1-2. But let's see what the Mercedes can do on that second lap. Lopez has got to find over 1.2 seconds if he wants to continue his pole position streak he's currently got going on at the moment. And Carr just needs to find under a second to get in terms of Franco Gamba. I don't think neither of the Mercedes has got held up on their lap. So a little bit interesting why they're a bit off the pace on the first lap. But maybe they're holding back for the second flying lap. We'll have to wait and see on that as Cupock gets wheeled back into the garage. As we will wait for the next runs to happen, and the mechanics will be waiting to go for the second flying lap once the driver is ready to do so, of course. So they're all making their way back into the pits to get themselves prepared for a second flying lap here in Q3. So De Rosa now then currently in P4, doing all right at the moment, but whether he can hold on to that position, it's another question, as there is a big gap between themselves and the two Red Bulls at the moment, particularly Franco Gamba. And yes, you did beat me again, Kiro. I got knocked out in Q2, sorry. I get Q1 and Q2 mixed up sometimes. I don't know why. I don't mean to. It's just my... Anyway, let's not delve into that, to what my brain is doing. But anyway, as Roland Motrin gets wheeled back into the garage, who's going to be the next to go out onto the racetrack, as the Racing Points will be ready to go out for a second run in just a little bit. Only P6 and P8 at the moment for the Silverstone based team, so not really ideal for both George and Roland at the moment, as considering where the Red Bulls are at the moment, as we wait for next laps to happen, as Lopez now then they're all waiting to go out. And it's going to be Cupock again. It's going to be David Cupock who's going to be the first on the track yet again in this instance. He will now make his way towards the first 2 turns on the racetrack. Currently down in P9 at the moment, and whether he can find some more time to improve, I'll have to wait and see. As Roberto Garma is going out on the track, as is one of the Mercedes, as I presume that is Franco Lopez, who's just coming out on the track, as he's desperate to try and get close to the Red Bulls. In fact, try and take pole position if he can. It is Roberto Garma who's gone out first, and then I believe it is Lopez who's next on track, and yes it is. So they're the first 3 guys out on track for the second runs of Q3. As Q-Pot now then approaches the bus stop chicane, there's sparks coming, a little bit of sparks coming off the back of his AlphaTauri there. A few more sparks, as you can see they're just kicking off the back there, through into the bus stop. We'll go now then. And for some reason, I've only just realised this, but for some reason, why does Kupok have number 32 on his car when he's supposed to be number 36, if I'm not mistaken? So a bit of an error there. I've only just only come across that error there on the AlphaTauri. So it's meant to have 36 on the car, not number 32. That's a bit of an error there. But anyway, coming around the left-hander now, then he will go, as he will now come around these section of corners. 32 used to be Lincoln Parner's number, but here we are, really. He's meant to have 36 on the car, not number 32. But anyway, as Kupot now then just comes around the final corner on the racetrack now, he makes his way onto the pit straight. Now making his way in towards turn 1. It doesn't look like there's any traffic that's going to compromise him. That Racing Point coming out just after him there, so no traffic for Kupok on this instance as he makes his way through into the first 2 turns on the racetrack now then, does the AlphaTauri driver. Now heading towards turns 3, 4 and 5. We'll go the German before making his way through 6 and 7. Turn 4, then around the double right-hander he will go. Turns 5 and 6, using a lot of curb on the outside there. That's now coming in towards the end of sector 1 now then. As he now goes down the straight now then, we'll go David Kupok. Now making his way onto the straight, and he's actually down on his personal best in the first sector, as you can just see there. In fact, 8 tenths down off of Franco Gamba in the first sector. Around these section of corners now, then we'll go the German. And now down straight before approaching the end of sector 2, which is quite quick between sector 1 and sector 2. It's just around this long swooping right-hander. Let's see what his second sector is like compared to his personal best. Still 2 tenths down, so at the moment Kupok's still off on his personal best, as he's currently down in 9th position, 1.555 behind Franco Gamba overall in this session. Through the left-hander then goes David Kupok, using a bit of the curb on the outside there before approaching the final 2 corners on the racetrack now, then flicking the car in with a long swooping left-hander into the final corner, and onto the pit straight will go David Kupok. And now down the pit straight and across the line will go David Kupok. Can he find some miracle in the last sector? And no, he can't. He remains in P9 as Gal and Roke are about to start the laps very soon. Roberto Gamba is now up on his personal best, as he's currently just nearly a second off of Franco Gamba, his own cousin. Let's see what Roberto Gamba can do then on this lap. He's currently in P5 at the moment. Could get himself above Car at the moment. Let's see. Roberto Gamba comes across the line, and yes, he can. He gets up to third, but not by much. Here comes Franco Lopez, who's still down on his personal best. Strangely enough, Lopez crosses the line and doesn't improve, remains in 7th. And, well, that's very, very interesting indeed. Lopez could be losing his pole streak here. Here comes Franco Gamba now, then the current pole sitter. He makes his way down the pit straight. He's not up on his personal best, and the Italian now then is going to cross the line and doesn't improve. Here comes Armakar. He's up on his personal best and goes only up to 3rd. Still not able to displace the 2 Red Bulls at the moment from the front row. Here comes Kirishima De Rosa now then. He makes his way down the pit straight across the line. Will go the McLaren driver. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains where he is. Lower Chung doesn't improve. Motrin goes up to 3rd. He gets into the car. Motrin off into P3. Only 9 thousandths off. 11 thousandths off his fellow compatriot. Here comes George Roke. He's 5 tenths down on Franco Gamba, but is up on his personal best as he swoops around the double right-hander now. Then we'll go George Roke as he now makes his way through into the left-hander now then, using as much curve as possible on the outside. Let's see what Roke can do. I don't think he's going to get as close to Motrin. He might get above De Rosa, but let's see. As Roke now then comes up towards the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go. So Kupok is now back in the pits. I should expect him to do one more flying lap, judging by how much time there's left on the clock. George Roke, across the line he will go. Where's he going to put himself? And he goes up to 5th, in fact. So he goes a lot higher than I anticipated. He gained a lot of time in the last sector. Gal, meanwhile, up on his personal best. Can he beat his teammate to the top? No, he can't. He loses time in the last sector. Stephen Rains in P2 at the moment as Lopez comes back into the pits as he was up on his personal best, but it didn't really matter because he was on light fuel. But at the moment, it's all looking good for Red Bull unless Lopez or Carr can get out there a lot earlier and find the time that they need to displace the two Red Bulls at the moment. With just over 3 minutes to go, it's so far a Red Bull 1-2, Dennis.
Yeah, it's a very big surprise. Yeah, that's absolutely, I would almost say, shocking. And of course, Mortier in P3. That's a great result for him.
I forgot. Perhaps, Yuri, perhaps the AI not helping the Mercedes at the moment, but we will see, of course, with just over 2.5 minutes to go in this session. Motrin is back in the pits. Forgot to mention him as well, Dennis. He is up in P3 at the moment, so very good as well. It's not just the Red Bulls that are ahead of the Mercedes, it's also the racing point of Roland Motrin. You got Lopez down in P8 at the moment, over 1.2 seconds behind Franco Gamba at this point in time. So, very interesting at the moment as the Ferrari there is going out on the track. Roberto Gamba is going to get one more flying lap in before the session comes to a close. Will anybody else join them as Gal is still trying to make his way back into the pits at the moment? He might be done for the day, will Miklos Gal. We'll have to wait and see, and it'll be hoping it's enough to make it a Red Bull front row lockout as Roberto Gamba is now out on the racetrack. Who else is going to join him? There is some movement in the pit lane. Who is that? That's Kupok who's just come out on the track, so he's not gone out first like we saw last time around, the last two runs, as we are looking up the countdown clock to see if any of the Mercedes are going to come out onto the racetrack, whether it be Lopez or Carr, or even maybe Roland Motrin could try and displace the two Red Bulls. We will see as Gamba is coming out onto the track. Franco Gamba is coming out. He's going to try and do one more lap just in case the worst happens, I guess. So Franco Gamba coming out on the track, but looking at the countdown clock, it looks like, well, that's that then, really. And I think it's fair to say now, we are not going to have a Mercedes on pole position for tomorrow's French Grand Prix. We're going to have a different pole sitter, and Franco Lopez's streak has officially come to an end.
I almost said finally. Finally something new this season.
We are going to have somebody other than a Mercedes taking pole position. Will it be the Red Bull of Franco Gamba, or will by some shocking miracle Roberto Gamba in the Ferrari do that? Maybe even David Kupok if he's lucky. We will see. But it's all looking good at the moment for Franco Gamba to take what will be, I think, his third career pole. He obviously took pole positions last season, but if I'm not mistaken, he's had a couple last season. I might be wrong on that. It might be just the one. I'm just going to double check that with Franco Gamba. Because he did take pole position last year at Silverstone. It is just one pole, so at the moment it's looking good for a second career pole for Franco Gamba, and probably a much needed pole given the bad luck that the Italian has had this season. Is his cousin, meanwhile, Roberto Gamba, is about to start his next lap, but there is some traffic in front of him. This might not help him out unless he gets by this McLaren pretty quickly, which he does, so it might not affect him too much, but the entrance to that corner might get compromised. We will see when we get to the first sector point. He might have got a little bit of healthy slipstream there from McLaren, who I believe was Kirishima De Rosa, of course. Gal has stayed behind, so he's keeping his fingers crossed. As Roberto Gamba getting very loose.
He almost lost it.
There. So that's chucked the lap away there for Roberto Gamba, that's for sure.
Yeah, so he will start in P6 at best. Most likely P6.
Time, of course. Or maybe P7, because of course Kupok is out there at the moment. He could try and get his AlphaTauri into the top 6, or maybe by getting a shocking pole, who knows. But anyway, here is Kupok now then, who is just behind these two. In fact, still got a bit of a gap, so he's not going to get held up, I don't think. Roberto Gamba making his way towards the end of Sector 1, and you can tell just how much time he's lost from that mistake, 1.2 seconds. Let's see what Kupok's first sector split is like compared to his personal best. He's nearly 2 tenths up on his personal best, but 5 tenths off of Franco Gamba. So it is looking good for Franco Gamba to get his first pole since Silverstone last season. So now going through the bust-up chicane then, will go David Kupok as he'll now make his way towards the long swooping right-hander. And let's see what his middle sector is like compared to his personal best. Just keep an eye on it on the top right of your screen now then, as he is 6 tenths down off of Franco Gamba, but 2 tenths up on his personal best. So I'm just trying to have a look. It's not going to get him anywhere near Roberto Gamba, so I think Roberto Gamba, unless Kupok pulls a miracle last sector like we saw from Roke just a little bit earlier on, then perhaps it looks like Roberto Garber is going to be secure in that P6 position. Through into the last 2 turns then goes David Kupok to the final corner, and onto the pit straight now then will go David Kupok, as he will now come across the line. Will go the German, and across the line goes David Kupok. Let's see what he can do. He's currently in P9, and he gets up to P8. He gets above
ahead
Lopez.
of
He drops
Lopez.
down to 9th. As a result, Franco Garber is on a lap, but he's not improving on his pole time, and I think he's the only one left. So it means, as a result, Franco Garber, to the surprise of everyone, is going to be on pole position for tomorrow's French Grand Prix, and even more, it's a Red Bull front row lockout. Franco Garber ahead of Miklos Gal. I think that is the first Red Bull lockout, if I'm not mistaken, since Australia 2017. So, an achievement there for Red Bull. But Franco Garber, to the surprise of everybody, is on pole position for tomorrow's French Grand Prix, with Franco Lopez, the championship leader, all the way down in 9th, and Amar Khan in 4th position. So we're now going to let you have a look at this amazing pole lap from Franco Garber, and here is how he did it. And that is how Franco Garber took a very shocking pole position for the French Grand Prix. And let's not forget as well, this guy nearly got eliminated in Q2. So had he been eliminated in Q2, we would have probably had Miklos Gal on pole instead. But we got an old Red Bull lockout with Garber on pole ahead of Gal. That is obviously a great result, but can Red Bull finally get their first victory of the season tomorrow, or will they be stopped by potentially Roland Motrin or even the Mercedes? You can't rule them out. But anyway, here is the grid as a reminder. Franco Garber shockingly on pole, with Miklos Gal in second, Roland Motrin a very good third, with Amar Khan in fourth, George Roque in fifth, Roberto Garber in sixth, with Kirishima De Rosa in seventh, and it is David Kupok in eighth, Franco Lopez, well, a lot of work to do in ninth tomorrow, and Laura Chong in 10th position. So what did you make of that session overall, Dennis? I'm pretty sure you're shocked just as much as I am.
Yeah, that's only one word, shock. That is absolutely biblical achievement for Franco Gamba here to clinch pole position after nearly being eliminated in Q2. So of course, great result for Red Bull overall. But yeah, Mercedes with a lot of work to do tomorrow, which will be very fun. to watch.
Indeed so, and we are in the makings, hopefully, for a very, very exciting race tomorrow, or whenever, of course, because, of course, we do have those weather warnings that Yuri gave us, but he has mentioned that apparently the weather may have cleared for Saturday, but he did mention to us before the stream started that the weather just keeps changing on his app. So we will see. Hopefully, we'll be here tomorrow for the French Grand Prix. Fingers crossed. If there is any postponements due to the weather, then we will let you know, of course, on Twitter as soon as we can, of course. But in the meantime, that has been it. Of course, there's no GP2 this week. That's back next week at Spielberg. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, Yuri will be going on to upload the BTCC meeting at Brands Hatch after we've gone off the air. So do be aware of that. But until then, that has been it. Hope you've enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been JW97. He's been Dennis Graff. And we will see you hopefully tomorrow at 5 p.m. GMT for the 53 lap French Grand Prix. Till then, take care. Of course, we don't do the commentary for the race because we allow George to do that. But in the meantime, take care.
Bye every time.